For 3 weeks, Marina got up at 6:30. She journaled, she exercised. For the first time in years, she didn't grab her phone before her eyes were even open. On day 22, she woke up with one question inside her. So what? So what? She's doing all of this, and life feels the same. Same apartment, same job, the same tiredness sitting somewhere under her ribs. Her hand reached for the phone almost on its own. A voice inside said, calm and convincing, "See? It doesn't work. You tried for nothing." In that moment, Marina was standing in one of the most interesting places a person can ever be. She had no idea. Today I want to talk about that place. The place where most people turn around and go back, often one step before the change would have actually happened. This isn't a motivational never give up story. It's about the mechanism, about why your brain, your body, and the people around you are built so that at a certain point, you'll absolutely want to quit, and why that urge, strangely, is a sign you're doing something real. Let's start with what actually happens inside a person who's trying to change. Most people think, I'll just decide, and then I'll do it. In reality, it works nothing like that. Because the way we live each day isn't run by conscious decisions. It's run by a system, settled links between situation and reaction, between emotion and behavior, between a body state and a familiar choice. Brain scientists describe it like this. The brain has two main gears. The first is deliberate, flexible, slow. You weigh, you choose, you decide. It costs attention and energy. The second is automatic, fast, cheap. A situation triggers a reaction with no conscious input from you. Morning, phone. Stress, sugar. Conflict, shut down. Tired, another episode. When you start to change, you're trying to shift from the automatic gear to the manual one. At first, that takes enormous effort. But it's not only effort. The brain also loves predictability. For years, it learned to predict what comes next. When you suddenly act differently, it gets a signal. Something doesn't add up. And it runs a program immediately. Put it back the way it was, that part we understand. That's not sabotage. That's its job. The human brain didn't evolve to give you a happy life. It evolved to keep your life predictable. Those are two different assignments. And here we arrive at the valley. This phenomenon has many names. The valley of disappointment, the dissonance phase, the transition zone. I'll just call it the turning back point, because this is exactly where most people turn back. What happens here? The old strategy is gone. It needed the morning phone, or the evening drink, or the familiar blow-up at the people you love, and now it's not there. But the new strategy hasn't set yet. It takes effort. It offers no instant reward. It still feels fake. Between them, emptiness. And in that emptiness, you run into something you're completely unprepared for. You run into the fact that your old habits were doing something. They took the edge off anxiety. They muffled the sadness. They filled the void. They made the day bearable. Take them away, and all of it rises to the surface. Raw. No anesthetic. And the brain says, see? It was better before. Without all these practices, you were calmer. It didn't hurt before. It's a treacherous thought because there's a grain of truth in it. You really did feel less before. Not because it was better, because the painkiller was working. The same painkiller that, along with numbing you, was slowly destroying you. Let me give you another scene. Andrew stopped drinking on Fridays. Not an alcoholic, but over the years it had set in. Friday night with coworkers at the bar, 4 hours of talk over beer, Saturday morning with fog in his head. He decided he didn't want that anymore. The first 3 Fridays were relatively easy. He was riding the high. He felt like a different man. On the 4th, a coworker said to him over lunch, "What, you're a saint now?" Relax, you only live once. Andrew laughed. Just a joke. But something inside tightened. By evening, he almost went. Just once. Just today. I'm not addicted, I can control it. What was happening in him? Not a craving for a drink. A craving to belong again. He suddenly felt dropped from the group. Still one of them, but a little foreign now. And the brain offered a very simple fix. Take back your usual spot, and everything makes sense again. This is one of the most underrated reasons people relapse. Not a shortage of willpower. Their environment quietly starts pulling them back. Not out of malice. A person who's changing simply stops filling the role the group is used to seeing. And the whole system, even close, loving people, starts working, with no ill intent, to pull them back. You've gotten too serious. You used to be more fun. Enough with this nonsense already. If you've heard things like that, know this. It's not proof you're doing something wrong. It's proof you've already moved something. Otherwise, no one would be trying to pull you back. First takeaway. The hardest place in change isn't where the old thing broke down. It's where the new thing hasn't become home yet. That's a normal phase. If you're in it, it doesn't mean you failed. It means you're standing where people usually give up, and where you don't have to. Now, another thing people rarely say honestly. When a person genuinely changes, they may feel worse for a while. Not better, worse. And that's often not a sign the method failed. It's a sign it worked. Here's why. Imagine you spent years managing anxiety with food or scrolling or a running inner monologue of self-criticism or working till midnight. All of those are painkillers. They don't treat the cause, but they lower the feeling. Remove them and the painkiller wears off, and you start to feel what was there the whole time. It's not that new pain appeared. It's that you can finally feel pain that was always there, just covered by a film. Therapists see this often in the first weeks of work. A client comes in and says, "I feel worse. I cry more. I get less done. I used to be more put together." And the therapist understands. The work is happening. The person wasn't more put together before. They were frozen. Now they're thawing. Thawing hurts. It isn't decline. It's the return of feeling. But this needs care. Not every downturn is useful thawing. If panic is growing, if depression won't lift, if you can't sleep, if you're having thoughts that life isn't worth living, that's not a signal to push on as you are. It's a signal to reach out for professional help. Rising pain is a normal phase of ordinary change. But if the pain goes beyond what you can carry, that's not a reason to grit your teeth. It's a reason to call a professional. Friends, a quick pause. If this conversation is reaching you, please give the video a like. It really does help the channel. Thank you. Now, the main question. If everything at the turning back point is against you, the brain pulling back, the body begging for the familiar, the people around you restoring your old role, and on top of it, you feel worse than before, what actually helps you get through it? I'll break it down step by step, not as a rule book for life, as a set of supports that work, that you can use today. Step 1. Name the phase. The simplest, most powerful move is to tell yourself, this is the transition zone, not a failure, not proof that nothing works, a phase. When you can name a state, it stops being everything. It becomes one of the situations you're in. Psychologists call this de-identification. Not, I'm a failure, but a feeling that I'm a failure is rising in me right now. Those are two different positions. If you can name it, you have a choice. If you can't, the state runs you completely. Step 2. Set a protocol for the bad day. Every change has bad days. Days when you want to quit it all. That's a law. The question isn't how to avoid them, it's what you do when they come. Ahead of time, with a clear head, write yourself a plan for the bad day. For example, today I make no big decisions. I do the minimum, sleep enough, eat properly, drink water, get out of the house for at least 10 minutes. I text or call one person who supports me. I take one small step toward where I'm going, even if it feels pointless. That's all. The bad day doesn't need heroics. It just needs you not to walk away. Step 3. Separate the signal from the story. At the turning back point, your brain generates very convincing stories. This isn't working. You're not that kind of person. Any normal person would have results by now. Stop torturing yourself. Take a sheet of paper, 2 columns. Left, what's actually happening. Right, what my brain is saying about it. Left, I've done the morning practice for 3 weeks. Today, I don't feel like it. Right, so it doesn't work. So I'm weak-willed. So I'll never get there. So I'm not like the people who do. See the difference? Left is fact. Right is interpretation dressed up as fact. The turning back point is where interpretations get especially loud. Their job is to return you to the familiar. Your job is not to believe them automatically. Step 4. Use the if-then formula. Psychologists call these implementation intentions. Sounds complicated. It's simple. Decide in advance. If X happens, I do Y. If I want to drink on Friday, I call a friend and say so first. If I don't feel like the morning practice, I still sit for 5 minutes, not 20. If quit everything rises in me, I wait 24 hours before deciding anything. This works because in the moment of collapse, you won't have the resource to improvise. The decision has to be made before the moment, not inside it. Step 5. Count repetitions, not moods. Normally we measure progress by feeling. I feel better, so I'm on the right track. In the transition phase, that gauge breaks because feelings often lag behind the change. Swap the gauge. Count not what you feel, but what you did. Got up this morning? Counts. Didn't grab the phone first thing? Counts. Spoke to your partner calmly instead of blowing up? Counts. The brain changes through repetition, not through emotional highs. Through the boring, day after day repeating of the new choice in real situations. Step 6. Make room for grief. This step almost no one mentions, but it matters. When you change, you lose something. The old role, the old crowd, the old way of getting relief, the old picture of yourself. That's a loss, even if the thing you're leaving was destroying you. A person can miss what was destroying them, simply because it was familiar. That's normal. Admit it. Don't pretend the transition is all delight. Let yourself grieve the old thing that's leaving. That's part of an honest road. Step 7. Choose witnesses, not spectators. Witnesses. A spectator judges whether you succeeded. A witness remembers why you started. A witness sees you not only on the days of triumph, but on the bad days, and doesn't lose respect for you. Find at least one person like that. A friend, a spouse, a close relative, a therapist, a mentor. One is enough. Without a witness, the transition is nearly unbearable. With one, it's possible. Second takeaway. The breakthrough rarely comes like fireworks. More often it comes as a day when you made the new choice with no inspiration at all. Just because you chose to. No applause, no sense of being right. You just did it. Now I want to name what usually gets left out of conversations like this, and without which the turning back point is hardest of all to cross. Here, you meet the limit of your own will. You've done what you could. You're holding on. You keep repeating the new choice. And still, emptiness inside, no result outside, and no way to be sure the whole story isn't lying to you. And here an uncomfortable truth shows itself. Not everything rests on our will. It never did. While things ran smoothly, we just didn't notice. Now we notice, because the will has run out, and life keeps going. This is one of the most important places in a person's life, because two different moves are possible here. You can say, if willpower can't do it, then nothing can. I'll go back to how it was. And then the turning back point becomes the place where you decide, again, to live in the orbit of your old self. Or you can say something else. I've done what I could, and now I allow that not everything is in my hands. Not as surrender, as facing reality. That second move is a subtle one. No formula captures it. But many people whom life genuinely changed have passed through it. At some point they admitted, I'm not the god of my own life. I'm not required to carry it all alone. There's someone who sees my path, even when I can't see it myself. And my part isn't to control everything, but to stay honest, faithful, and moving. The fruit, that's no longer only mine. Not everyone frames that move in words about a creator. But watching people for years, I've noticed one thing. The ones who crossed their valley and kept going almost always at some point stopped carrying it alone. Not magically. They simply let something larger than themselves into their picture of the world. That changes the turning back point completely. It stops being a test of strength. It becomes the place where you learn to trust. Not yourself, not the emptiness, but the one who stands behind the whole story and sees where it's going. In the valley, it often feels like you're alone, like no one understands, like no one knows how hard this is for you right now. But honestly, you're not the first to stand here. Millions stood here before you. Many made it through, not because they were stronger, because at some point they stopped checking whether anything was moving and simply kept walking. Seeds grow underground. You can't dig them up every morning to check. They'll never take root. The fact that you don't see a result isn't proof there's no growth. It's how growth is built. Invisible ripening is real, even when your emotions report nothing but emptiness. Short summary, so it doesn't slip away. The turning back point is a normal phase of any real change, not proof that nothing works. The brain will pull back. The body will beg for the old. The people around you will restore your old role. That's not sabotage. It's how the system is built. It got worse sometimes means it worked. But if panic is growing, if depression won't lift, or you're having thoughts that life isn't worth living, reach out for help. Name the phase. Set a protocol for the bad day. Separate fact from story. Use the if-then formula. Count repetitions, not moods. Make room for grief. Find witnesses. Not everything rests on your will. Admitting that isn't weakness. It's the doorway into a deeper trust in the one who sees more than you do. The breakthrough rarely comes like fireworks. More often it's a day when you made the new choice with no inspiration, just because you chose to. If this video helped you, please give it a like. I know it feels like one like changes nothing, but it does. If you're not subscribed and this format speaks to you, subscribe. There'll be more conversations like this here. Calm, serious, to the point. And any comment, even one word, moves the video in the algorithm too. And if you're thinking of someone right now, someone you sense is in their own valley, send them this video. No pressure, just as a thought. Sometimes the word a person needs comes through the people closest to them. Thank you for being here. Until next time.